Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, back with another video. And today I'm going to just be talking about this fight that Death Battle is doing. Ruby Rose versus Maka. Ruby from Ruby and Maka from Soul Eaters. Now, this is a fight that I really liked, and when this fight was being discussed like years ago, because I know this was a fight that Monty Ohm wanted to happen from Death Battle. He publicly said he wanted this fight to happen. Unfortunately, Monty Ohm passed away, and this fight was never able to happen while he was still alive. Unfortunately, and so this was a death battle that Ben Singer and Chad Ben Singer, aka Wiz, Chad, aka Boomstick, publicly said that would they want to do. They want to do, and they promised Monty Ohm they would do it, and so they're finally doing it, and I'm happy they're doing it. I am kind of surprised it's episode 200 because I mean this was originally supposed to be Yugi versus Ash, but obviously things got delayed. Totally understand. Animation productions are crazy. And trust me, as someone who works for Rewind Rumble and Cartoon Fight Club, I totally understand delays and productions. Trust me, personal experience from seeing it firsthand. So I totally get it. But anyways, so if anybody hadn't seen that the live stream that I was a part of with Roaring Thunder Pursuit, he invited me on that. I was with Reptile as well on that, breaking down some of the analysis as well as some of the known feats. As you guys know, this is a fight that we did on Cartoon Fight Club years ago. And I was heavily a part of a lot of the research for this fight. And at the time, when we were researching it, we were focusing mostly on the anime, more so than the manga. And so at the time, we had concluded that Ruby would win. There were some feats at the time that Maka we kind of overlooked on at the time. We mostly me, but we had other people on the team researching it as well. It wasn't just me. But I did do a lot of it, and that's kind of why we went the direction we went. And Ruby won the match, and after we did the match, I did come to the realization that Maka should have won. Once I started looking into some of the stuff, especially from the manga, that really tipped the scale more into Maka's favor. Now, of course, this was 10 years ago. I mean, it's just crazy to think about it. It was 10 years ago. It just feels like yesterday, honestly. I don't know what that thinks of me because, 10 years ago just flew by for me. I don't know if this is representing me getting old or what the fuck that means, but it just felt like it was 10 years ago. Was not too long ago. And that's crazy to think about. But anyways, so that was kind of the way at the time we were analyzing Ruby based on some of the feats she had done. I believe in 2016 when it 2016 when it came out, 2016 or 2017. When that came out, I believe that would have been around the time season 5 was just coming out. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember exactly. But I know that when we were analyzing Ruby's feats at the time, we were giving a lot of benefit to Ruby more so than we should have given her at the time. Um, especially since we did overlook a lot of Maka's incredible feats at the time, which would have given Maka the win had we not done that. But I take most of the fault for it because, again, I take most of the fault for it because I was the one that really looked at the feats over and gave it to Animation Rewind. So to me, I felt like it was more on me than it was on anybody else to why Ruby won. Um, Especially when we found out the stuff afterwards. Um, so if that fight was done today on Rewind Rumble or Cartoon Fight Club, respectively, Maka would definitely win and would have completely. If I did the fight, if I did the fight on this channel, even if for my own versus show, if I ever am able to get that show back on the ground again, because I do want to get that show back up. It's been a bumpy road. There were a lot of things that were going on at the time. I stopped the show not because I didn't like doing it anymore. It's just that it was a lot of time, a lot of effort, and there was just so many crazy things going at the time that I was going through personally, and I just had to step away from it. And that's why I mostly just focused on doing research through Cartoon Fight Club and Rewind Rumble at the time, because I really wasn't doing any versus research outside of Cartoon Fight Club and Rewind Rumble after I stopped doing my show. That was really the only time I was doing research for anything, because I was doing all these other things. There was a lot of personal stuff going on in my life at that time. And there was just so many other crazy stuff, as well as my other projects that I wanted to do, that I wanted to start focusing on as well, because and to be real, I also wanted to distance myself from the versus community in general. That's being truthful as truthful can be. It's not that I didn't want to leave the versus community necessarily, but I didn't want to be totally full-time on it anymore, because there was obviously crazy things going on, a lot of harassment also from a lot of the people in the versus community. You guys know who you are that did it. Because there's still, I think some of them are still even in the versus community, but there were a lot of people that were doing that. And I wanted to focus on other things, because this channel, truth be told, I didn't want to be known as the versus debater or ranter. I really didn't. My channel was not open for doing versus stuff. I mean, if you guys go back to when my channel was started, if you've been an OG subscriber from 2010, when I was still in high school, you would know that I was doing things. I was doing reviews and, I was doing other things, wrestling reviews, football reviews, football predictions. When me and Kyle did our original prediction show, yes, we actually had a prediction show before Beast Picks. Years ago. Wasn't as great as this one. This one's way more better. Production value is much better. But we did that stuff when we were still in high school. We started doing that when we were still in high school, or I was towards the end of high school, actually, I should say. But we were starting to do that. Funny thing is, my friend Kyle Rainey 48, he didn't even remember, because the Super Bowl, the Packers and the Steelers were in the Super Bowl. We actually did a prediction show on the air together instead of just calling one another. This is before Zoom, and he was wearing his Steeler gear. I was wearing my Packers gear, and I showed him that video, and he didn't even remember it. I had to show him it. He rewatched the whole thing 10 years later, and he had no memory of it. No memory of it. Because he didn't believe me that we did that. And I was like, yeah, we did do that. It's crazy to think. I see, and that's the thing. I it's so weird thinking about it because I've been on YouTube since 2007. You know, I opened this channel in 2007. I didn't start making videos until 2010 when I was just about to graduate high school. But I've been on YouTube pretty much most like half of my life now. You know, I've been on YouTube for like half my life now. Like, cause I opened this channel in 2007. All right, didn't start making videos until 2010. But you know, like to think about it, that's how crazy that is. To think about that, I'm 33 now. I opened this channel probably when I was like 15 or 16, right? Um, because I was just bringing it up, like, holy shit, like half my life I have been on YouTube. Almost half my life I've been on YouTube because I'm 33 now. And it was like I got so many different like videos that like a lot of my videos are privated now. Like some of the older videos that I did are privated now, but I still have them, and I occasionally will look at them, to see like what I did differently back then. And because I don't believe in deleting videos. Like I don't delete any of my videos on YouTube unless I have to. There's sometimes I do have to delete my videos, but a lot of my videos are still up on YouTube, just privated, just for me to personally see. And it's just crazy thinking about that now. Um, and that's just getting a little off topic, nostalgia. But yeah, like point being is, I didn't want to be the versus ranter person. I didn't want to be known for that. Okay, and so that's why I started to distance myself from that, and still to this day, to a certain extent, I am. Because I have other things that I'm passionate about. Football. I've always been a Packers fan since I've been 3. And I do that. I do the I've done WWE videos. Obviously, I mean that's kind of one of the things that started my channel, was watching Gemini 686 do his DVD reviews. That was one of the main reasons why I started my YouTube channel, actually. And I'm so stoked that he's still on YouTube. Because I know he was going through a tough time. So you know, that's just so crazy how it is right now. But so that's kind of why I kind of distance myself from the Versus community in terms of my YouTube channel. I mean, obviously behind the scenes, I was still doing Rewind Rumble and Cartoon Fight Club. But that's why I kind of was distancing myself, and I lost a lot of stuff. There was a fight I was gonna do for my Versus series that I never got to do. A guy had animated it, and I lost like all the. I mean, I have the animation, but I kind of lost contact with everybody, and I just, I still have that fight too. But I don't have like all the credits on it or whatever, and I'd have to I think edit everything now. For that fight, I think it was the Starfire versus Android 18 fight that I was gonna do. And I had the animation for it. I don't even have the animator listed on it now too, which really sucks. Or what his name was, because I lost contact with everybody at that point. So there's a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes that just really just ruined it. But I would love to put that fight out too. But I'd have to get all the stuff back for it, because I just, back then I made a lot of miscues on doing stuff like that. But yeah. I mean, like getting to the Ruby versus Maka. I mean, there were so many mistakes I made, and on the Cartoon Fight Club fight, looking back on it, and again, I on the Roaring Thunder Pursuits live stream, I actually did say something that I made a mistake on just by forgetting about the final season of Ruby, or it's not the final season. Well, at least as of right now, it's the final season. We don't know if they're going to do a volume 10 or not. Ruby is now owned by Viz Media. We have no idea. There was actually a survey they did in June. I actually just they actually have it still going up, and they asked for people's opinions on it. I don't know if people took that Ruby survey yet. I just actually did it today because it was still up. They were asking about different animes you like. Didn't ask about Dragon Ball Z, by the way. They asked about a bunch of shows I never heard of. And your opinion on certain stuff. So a lot of different things. So we'll see what happens with Ruby Volume 10, how different they are. Hopefully the writing will be better because the writing was such trash in Volume 9. That's the only thing I really remember about Volume 9 is the writing was just not really good. As a matter of fact, ever since after Volume 3, the writing hasn't been that good. Only Volume 5 was okay, but still missing a lot. But all the other seasons have just been very mediocre. But the one thing that in Volume 9 that did establish, and I forgot about this because I only watched that season once, and it was 2 years ago, and I just forgot about a lot of it. Other than they were in like some card world, basically. But Ruby did dodge lightning, and I did make a mistake and I actually even told Reptile and Roaring Thunder Pursuit this the next day after I realized that the person who pointed it out in the comments section, I don't know what your name was, but I did reply back to him instantly and said, you're right about that. There is a little contents to the lightning, the dodging lightning feat for Ruby Rose, but even if you want to include the Ruby Rose lightning feat, which we would obviously do that, or dodging lightning feat, it would definitely be hypersonic speed. It would definitely surpass supersonic speed, because I had said that she was supersonic speed. Prior to Volume 9, she would be supersonic speed, but because of that feat, she is definitely massively over hypersonic. Not at faster than light speed, though. She's not at faster light speed like Maka is. So, again, as fast as Ruby is, she is not faster than Maka. So, even if you give her that speed boost, which we will give her that boost, I apologize for forgetting about this on Roaring Thunder Pursuit's channel. I don't know why I forgot about it again. It might just be because I just forgot completely about that season. That was probably the only highlight, really. One of the few highlights that final season did. I mean, the only things I can remember about Volume 9 is the dumb shit they did. Like, Neo having to stay in Ever After or whatever it's called. I remember that because I hated that because I like Neo. I like Neo as a character. I mean, the element of her is such a mystery because she can't talk, so you got to kind of like figure Neo out, on, what she's doing based on her emotion, right? So I was not happy of Neo being left behind, essentially, that way. But yeah, the highlight of that volume is basically that Ruby. The highlight of of Volume 9 is basically that Ruby could dodge lightning, which makes her hypersonic speed. And definitely debunks what I said on the stream, because that was based on what she was before Volume 9, which I should have remembered that, so I apologize for people that seen that stream, and I gave you a little inaccurate or a little outdated information. But that's why I'm setting the record straight here, Yes, she is hypersonic speed, but even with hypersonic speed, she cannot beat Maka because Maka is faster than light. And not only has dodged lightning, she has dodged way more than that. And has had consistent feats, whether you go to the anime or you go to the manga, which the manga is she's even faster, by the way, with her scaling. So again, Maka definitely shit stomps Ruby, especially if we're playing death battle rules. And you guys know how death battle rules are. Death battle likes to composite characters, even if it's not the same character, even if it's just in name only. We've seen this ever since the first Goku versus Superman. I know you're gonna here he goes again with Goku versus Superman, but it's fucking true, man. Till the ends of Earths, till the ends of time, I'm gonna say it. They've been doing this since then because it still reigns in people like, oh, well, they're under different ownership, they're on this. It doesn't matter what ownership they are. It's the same research people. They might have some new research people, but it's the same research people. It's the same host. It's the same production, essentially, with the exception of like new, better animators, good animators. They always have really good animators, even back then. But, but in terms of the research format has always been the same with Death Battle. They've gotten a little more cuter with their little putting square bubbles on the side, on the top side. I think the top left or whatever screen. They're putting that now on the later seasons now to try to add content. But at the end of the day, most of the format for their research is basically the same. All right, it's the same. It's always going to be the same. That's Death Battle's rules. That's their format. They're never going to change, and that's why I don't really talk about it anymore. Like, people wonder why I don't mention it anymore, because it's their rules. They're not going to change it. No matter what I say, no matter what anybody says, this is how Death Battle does their versus show. It's wrong, but that's how they do it. That's how they operate their show. That's how they operate the show. There's nothing we can do to change their opinion on that. They composite characters, even though sometimes they'll composite one character and then the other character they will conveniently not composite, or they'll weaken content just to spread the narrative of the character that they want to win, which is why I have a bad feeling about this fight, because I think they're going to have Ruby win, even though she shouldn't win. I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to have Ruby win because this is how they do their versus shows. Even with Broly versus Hulk. Broly versus Hulk, they composited DBZ Broly with Super Broly. Like, they used Super Broly, but they used DBZ Broly's feats in the show, which that Broly, one, that Broly's not canon, and number two, the DBZ Broly is not the same Broly. Like, they're not the same character. They have the same name, but they're not the same character. That DBZ Broly was a villain. Okay, Super Broly is not a villain. He's someone that is like a character that doesn't understand his own strength. All right, he doesn't understand what he's doing. Okay, DBZ Broly wasn't like that. DBZ Broly was just like, oh, I'm just going to obsess over Goku and try to kill him, basically. Kakarot, right? So they're not the same character, but yet, under Death Battle's logic, they were the same character. That is my problem with Death Battle. And this is why I don't talk about this anymore, because it's a brick wall. They're not going to fucking change. It's like arguing with a brick wall. They're not going to change this viewpoint. Okay? And again, this is me talking about a DBZ character they composited. Okay? So for people that are going to say, oh, you're just biased towards DBZ, no, I've said it about Broly too. They fucked up Broly. Okay? Android 18 versus Captain Marvel, one of the more infamous ones that people actually started to think that Death Battle was trying to now aid DBZ. Okay, right? That was like the first fight where people started to think, oh, well, now they're trying to cater to the DBZ fan base, right? Even though Android 18 does beat Captain Marvel, the way they did it was the wrong way. They got some of the research wrong. They were saying absorbing energy. The 18 could absorb energy, which that's been factually proven inaccurate. Um, again, this is what they do. They always do this. It doesn't matter if it's DBZ. It doesn't matter if it's Marvel. It doesn't matter if it's DC. If there's a character that they want to win, they will intentionally give that character the benefit of the doubt versus the other character because they want that character to win. They've always done this. You can go back to any battle. You can go to any of their battles, most of them. You can go to, and you can find this. Okay, you can find this. It's not just Goku versus Superman, which obviously Goku versus Superman is their most infamous one. But there's more than just the original Goku versus Superman. Okay, that they've done this, and I have a feeling they're gonna do it with Ruby versus Maka, because we even brought up in that stream, about the game, that crossover game or whatever, that they're probably going to use that. Some people are like, well, it's non-canon, so they can't use it. But Death Battle doesn't care about that. Death Battle doesn't care if something's non-canon. Okay, they will use it. Okay, they claim that if they use it, that means the other character gets to use it. But sometimes they don't do that. So these are rules that Death Battle has established. This is how Death Battle plays their games. This is how they do their Versus series. There's not going to be something that they're going to magically start doing where they're going to change that, no matter who owns the show. Whether it's independent, whether it's owned by Rooster Teeth, whether it's owned by Screw Attack, it doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. This is how their rules are. This is how their rules are always going to be until their show is done, whenever it finishes. Okay? If it ever finishes. I don't think Death Battle is ever going to finish as a series because it makes too much. There's too much investment into it. I mean, the fact that it is still going on as an independent show just proves how powerful the brand is. So I don't think Death Battle is going anywhere. The only reason why I thought it may have been gone was because they were obviously still under Rooster Teeth, which was under bankruptcy. And when you go into bankruptcy, obviously assets get bought out and stuff like that. I mean, you've seen it with Ruby. You got to be lucky enough to do that. And that was my only concern of how Death Battle might not be able to make it through. But they obviously were able to make it through. They were able to make some agreement to get out of the Rooster Teeth umbrella and be their own thing again, which good for them, because that would have been hell if they had stayed in bankruptcy. If you stay in bankruptcy, that's not that's not where you want to be. You do not want to be in bankruptcy as an IP. So good for them on that front, especially also Ruby, which, glad Viz Media has got it, because, Viz Media, they could definitely do something with it, I think. Hopefully, because, I mean, they don't own a lot of the animes that they have. They have licenses, but they know how to market stuff. And because they directly own Ruby now, there's definitely ways they can get around things for Ruby. There's definitely ways they can get around with Ruby. Especially since Viz directly owns it now. I don't know how many IPs that Viz actually owns, because most of their stuff is licensing stuff. But them directly owning it actually benefits them too. They are re-releasing the DVDs and Blu-rays of Ruby. I'm not exactly sure if it's worth it for people, because obviously if you already have some of the Blu-rays and DVDs, I have some of them because I got them pretty cheap back in the day when they were released for Rooster Teeth. But it is what it is. I am hoping that we get some more stuff with Ruby. Hopefully better writing though. But yeah, in terms of the Death Battle, versus Maka. Maka should win. If Maka does win, it's probably going to be because of not really great research, because sometimes they will have the right winner win, but the research will be like lackluster. Um, and that's what I think will happen if Maka does win. If Maka loses, then we know the reason why, because their favoritism to Ruby at that point. Even though they're not even affiliated with Rooster Teeth anymore, they got Casey, who great composer. By the way, they got her involved. They got Lindsay involved as the voice of Ruby. In Death Battle, they usually always get the Ruby voice actors to do the voice, which is great. But with everything the way it is, it just feels like Ruby's gonna win. Like, it just feels that way. It just has that like aura to it. I hope I'm wrong. I am looking forward to the animation, because the animation looks, from the previews I've seen, it looks pretty good. From little teasers that they've shown on social media, I should say. I actually haven't watched the previews. I've seen some of the teasers on social media, though. But nonetheless, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. By the way, I should point this out before people ask me, will I live stream this? No, I will not live stream this, because I'm having a lot of technical difficulty. Well, two reasons, actually. One, I'm having a lot of technical difficulties with doing live streams of the video. For some stupid reason, every time I try to live stream, and this same thing with Deku and Miles Morales thing, is like it cuts out when I start to react to it on the video. And obviously, I'm not going to do that and then, realize, oh, crap, I'm off the air now while I'm reacting to it, and then do that whole thing and then have to do it all over again. So that's one of the reasons why I will not be doing a live reaction, like a live stream reaction. I will be just doing a regular video of it and uploading it as a premiere. But also, number two, the reason why I can't do it live is because Death Battle, for whatever reason, have decided to do it at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Sunday. And as you know, I am an NFL football fan. I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. And yes, I watch football on Sundays during the football season. So that's the other reason. I don't know why Death Battle picked 1 o'clock. I think that's a dumb time for them to do it, especially since a lot of people watch football. It's kind of like one of the biggest sports in America. Not a very good time for Death Battle to be putting the time out there on a Sunday. I think they should be doing it on a Saturday. If I was Death Battle, I would be doing it on a Saturday. That makes more sense. Saturday would make more sense, because that's when everybody's like, it's like a regular day and stuff like that. That's the day they should be doing it. I don't know what the whole idea of them doing it 1 o'clock is on a Sunday of all days when people are watching football. But yeah, so that's why those are the two reasons why I do not live stream anymore for any of these type of reactions, any of these video reactions, not just Death Battle. Because one, the main reason is it just, I don't know why my OBS doesn't work for it. Like, every time the OBS just, I don't know, just stops recording it while I'm streaming. And number two, football Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. NFL, American football, for any people that are watching this outside of America. But yeah, that's the reasons, guys. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure to comment, rate, like, and if you are not already, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for all the latest content. And yeah, guys, now I'm out. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace. Also, make sure besides my YouTube channel to follow me on the Twitch, Instagram, and I have just a Discord link in the description where we discuss various topics, including this one here. So make sure to check all that out. And now I'm out. Peace.